Mike Rowe? Know the name? Sure you do. Former star of the show Dirty Jobs. He spent years traveling the country. He highlighted jobs that most people would do their best to avoid. But those jobs, by the way, are what keeps America running. In fact, for the second year in a row, it is trade jobs that are in highest demand. Guess what? Mike Rowe with us in the flesh here in New York today. Mike, welcome to the program.
It's a lot of flesh. Thank you.
I watched the show. I mean, you did what, 300 different jobs?
300 jobs, 8.5 years, every state, half a dozen continents.
Jobs that a lot of people would not want to do. So the question is, why were these people doing those jobs?
Happy, prosperous, both to a degree you wouldn't imagine. There's so many lessons from the show, and people ask me all the time if I learned anything, but the short answer is we, at our peril, diminish an entire part of our workforce in the way we portray them, the way we talk about them, the things we aspire to.
Yeah, you made blue-collar people doing difficult jobs look good. You made them look like they really were working hard, contrary to what some people think. You made them look good, didn't you?
It wasn't hard. All we did was really show up and shut up. You know, I mean, we were flies on walls. We never did a second take. We had 4 cameras rolling, and my job was to assume the role of an apprentice and simply spend the entirety of the day with a bricklayer, with a bridge painter, with a maggot farmer.
And you actually did it, didn't you?
Oh, you have to.
It was digging ditches. You dug a ditch.
No cheating. Had to do it.
Had to do it.
My job, I was paid to try. I was held to a very low standard of competence, thankfully, you know, vis-a-vis my performance at the job. But our job was just to shine a light on the people who did the work. And now that the show is over, the conversation has moved on to, okay, so what? You know, what can we learn from it?
Yeah, so what are you going to do to give back and keep that respect for blue-collar people going? What are you doing?
Well, in 2008, the headlines caught up with the show. And suddenly, the skills gap, and of course unemployment, and a college education or some kind of education all became big topics. So we started to look at all those things through the lens of Dirty Jobs, and I think I've identified the worst bit of advice. In fact, Stuart, if I could be so bold, I think we may have solved the skills gap, unemployment, and college loans right now, because I don't think they're problems. I think they're symptoms of horrible advice. The horrible advice in question was hanging on the wall of my guidance counselor's office in 1979. This is part of a PR campaign.
If the audience can't see it properly, on the one side, you've got a guy who's graduating college, he's got the mortarboard, he's got the dress, it says,
yes.
And on the other side, a blue-collar guy looking sleepy, and it says, work smart, not hard. That's terrible.
It's terrible, but look, if you Google it, if you Google that cliche, you'll see it has infected virtually every aspect of our society. It's on products. It's the title of best-selling books. It's the name of conferences and seminars. It's, on the one hand, just a tired old stupid platitude, but on the other hand, it's the same advice that we continue to give today. I've heard you say this on your show. I really do watch you. $1 trillion in student loans.
Yeah.
And that's federal money a lot of people hold the note on. That's a bubble, right? But we've got high unemployment for graduates. We have thousands of graduates working in fields they didn't even study for. And on top of that, we have a skills gap. So 3 million jobs available in the trades and commerce and transportation. We're still, when we still talk about the trades, we still imagine this guy.
Yes.
All right, so
we look down on that guy.
We look down on it. But what if we redid the poster? And what if we had something slightly more accurate, okay? So this is what I did in my off time from Dirty Jobs. I took the worst advice I ever saw. I redid it to something a bit more reflective of the times we're in.
Yeah.
And my goal is to get one of these in every high school around the country. And at least, you know, just start a conversation.
Good for you.
This guy's in debt. He can't get a job. That's me, by the way, in the cap and gown.
Okay.
Well, let's assume the role of the knucklehead.
Good for you.
But anyhow, look, it's a little thing to do, but at least it helps us. We have a foundation. We push on this. It's called Profoundly Disconnected, our new website, and we're just trying to do what we can to draw attention to the opportunities exist and try and retroactively remove a lot of the stigma that still keeps moms and dads from providing a real, honest, top-down look at the opportunities that exist.
Why don't you go back and do a new series looking at college graduates who, A, can't get a job, and B, if they've got a job, they're really not happy. They're deeply mired in college loan debt. Might be good.
Who would put that on the air?
Who do you?
That's a
do
good
we
question.
Know anyone?
Who would do that? Well, we'll think about it.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike Rowe, great show. Thank you so much for being with us. All in favor of what you're trying to do.
Can I